wound, it's also doing it inside of every blood vessel, even the ones that were not wounded. So you're building a clot in every one of them. See where I'm going with this? When you loosen that and that pressure hits, it can push that clot into the brain or the heart or the lungs, and you're gone in seconds. That's why it has to be done very slow. The longer it's been on, the slower it takes. I was reading an article here a while back about
with clots, it can be hours too.
Yes. I was reading an article here a while back about some injuries in Fallujah, and there was a Marine for 36 hours had a cat tourniquet on his leg, with a bullet still stuck in his leg. And it took them 5 days to get him off the cat. And that was in a field surgical hospital transition because it was on so long. And he did not lose the leg. They were pretty certain that was going to be able to. That's one of the reasons it went so long. Getting into that depth is over my knowledge level at the moment. We're talking about field surgery here. But what they would have done is while the cat was on, they would have cut open that leg all the way around, a couple inches below it. And they would have cut out any necrotic flesh. They would have snipped every single vessel and grafted them. So you can imagine the hours and hours and hours of microsurgery going on there.
But when the shit hits the fan, what is your goal?
On the cat?
Yes.
Stop the bright red bleeding. I'd rather lose a leg than I had, if it stays on so long. Now this is not medical here, what I'm about to tell you. This is more moral to people. If this cat has to stay on, there's no highly trained medical professional in sight, you still ain't found one, leave the cat on. That leg's gonna rot. And that person's gonna be miserable. But guess what? All that infection, that rot, is not gonna get in the bloodstream. This is gross to even think about. It's gonna fall off. If that ever happens and they're still alive, the shock didn't get them, things like that, that's one good thing is it's keeping infected blood from ever coming back. And blood poisoning is going to happen if it's on for very long. Now with that said, if you have to use one of these, a lot of the EMT style trainers will tell you keep a Sharpie pen in your IFAK, get your pen out and put a T on the forehead of the injured. The newer cat tourniquets have a white flap here and it'll say time or have a T on there. Screw that. Put it on their forehead and don't worry about the Sharpie. If they were bleeding bad enough to put a TQ on them, you got blood all over your hands. Scrub it on and go. Never put a tourniquet on under clothing. If it's cold, you don't want to put it on over heavy clothes either. But if it's cold out, cut the sleeve out, cut wherever you got a rip, tear. Never cover it up where somebody else can't see it. As far as when we'll get on the use on that, we'll get back to that in a minute. But no, really good question on that, and it's not one that's easy to answer though.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's down to where you want to extend your life past 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
And deal with it later.
Yeah, I mean, it's like survival prepping. We can't prep for everything, no matter how hard we try. And the best we can do is the best we can do. If I'm going to die in just a matter of minutes, if that ain't on me, put it on me. If it looks like it can't ever be taken off, that death may kill me, but it's going to be I'm dying of shock and pain. It's not going to be blood poisoning, shutting my organs down. It's not going to be nasty infections. It's all sealed off down there. It's a nasty way to have to die, but I'd rather die hurting, but not a slow death. With everything just shutting down little bits at a time, than I had to sit there and bleed out. At least give me time to say bye and thank the people for trying. And there's going to be a lot of things that's in a military issued IFAK. And like I said, this stuff here is old, guys. This is my training kit here. There's going to be a lot of things that we'll talk about here in a minute that I would recommend people having, but I wouldn't recommend you using, and we'll get to that in a minute. The second most important thing I think anybody should ever have is an Israeli bandage or compression bandage. So these are old here, but all it pretty much is like an ace bandage with a pad on the inside of it. You could actually use a lady's sanitary napkin and an ace bandage and achieve the same thing, but this can be done one-handed. And these could actually be reused just like the tourniquet. Shit hits a fan situation, these can be boiled out. I mean, look at our pioneers, they did that with bandages and stuff like that. They just washed them best they could, boil them, sanitize them.
What's the plastic thing on
This is the catch. We'll practice using this in a little bit, but basically once it's when it's wrapped, every time you go over to the bandage area, you put this under here, and it keeps everything in line and puts direct pressure over the top of the wound. So this clip will go over the top of the wound. Each wind that goes around, that goes in, and when you get to the end, it's got another clip here. Sometimes it takes a little working around to get to work out right, and then you just clip this in behind that clip, and it'll all hold pressure on it. It's basically giving you an extra hand. Most everybody ought to know that, the easiest thing to do whenever there's bad bleeding is apply pressure, and this will do that for you. It's not real good for heavy arterial bleeding. That would be here. If you got bright red spurting blood, looks like a water fountain, you're probably not going to get it stopped with that. You might. If you've got time to just stand there and tend to the injured person, you can probably get it stopped with that. Between that and keeping pressure on it and everything too. If you even think you're going to have to turn your back on them, I wouldn't trust just that on actual spurting blood. Bright red,